I see it is now time for us to get started. We're at 11:15. We'll start promptly. We are so happy to have you here at the University of Washington. My biggest welcome to all of you. My name is Gail Christensen, and I serve as the Associate Vice Provost of Global Affairs at the University of Washington. Our Vice Provost, Ahmed Ezzedine, and maybe we can go to the next slide, is currently traveling, but will be at the in-person event tomorrow, so you can meet him there. Today, we want to introduce you to the Office of Global Affairs. We serve as the hub for global engagement at the University of Washington, from global learning activities that include study abroad, internationalizing the student experience in the curriculum through activities like cooperative international online learning, or we help host workshops on globalizing the syllabus. We also support global research and serve as a resource to support your safety when traveling outside the United States. The main message I want to leave with you today, and I think we all do, all of my colleagues, is that we can be a resource and a point of contact for your global interests and work, and that we want to support you in these efforts. I'm now going to turn it over to my colleagues to share some specific information about the services and resources available to you. The first person from our office that's going to speak is Lottie Carr. She's the Senior Director for Global Engagement and will share some information about international agreements and our Global Innovation Fund.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to University of Washington. I am so happy that you are here. My name is Lottie Carr, and as Gail said, I lead our global engagement part of our office. Part what I would like to talk about very briefly is in my office, we manage agreements between the different institutions, between University of Washington and other international institutions. So if you have a collaboration, it is very good to reach to us. The email is agreements@uw.edu. That is the best way to reach us. And we will get back to you and figure it out what type of agreement you may need for your research, for your studies, for your outreach, whatever you like to do globally. The other part that I would like to mention is our office manages a Global Innovation Fund. This is a funding opportunity for our faculty. Usually opens up on December 1st, and you will see the website will be updated in a few weeks with all the information. This is a perfect opportunity for you to jumpstart your research projects with seed fund for any global focused project, so you will see more information. The other part that I would like to point you out on our website is global funding opportunities. You will see on the link when you click that there is a little sidebar where we keep a sheet of different global funding opportunities. This is being updated every single time we receive a new opportunity. You will see a couple of the dates are in red, and that means the deadline is within a week. One of them is actually today, but bookmark that page. It's a very good resource for you to see what is possible, what other different funding opportunities are available to you. And my last page for the global engagement part I would like to do is please follow us on LinkedIn at UW Global or in Instagram, also at UW Global. We hope to see you there and be engaged with us. Thank you so much. And I believe I will be followed by my colleague Wolf, who will be talking about study abroad.
Thank you, Lottie. Hello to everyone and welcome to UW. Great that you can join us today. My name is Wolf Latch. I'm the director of UW Study Abroad. Our office and my team supports around 3,000 students, University of Washington students, going abroad for international educational opportunities every year. What I want to talk to you about in this sort of brief few minutes is a particular opportunity that all faculty at the University of Washington have to engage students in this way. And that is our faculty-led programs. So we have a very large offering of faculty-led programs. Every year, last year, we supported over 80 faculty-led programs, taking students abroad in groups of between 10 and 25. Those opportunities are available to any UW faculty member, and over the last, so typically we have two faculty supporting each of those programs. So we had about 160 UW faculty lead students abroad as part of faculty-led programming in 2024-2025. This type of programming is entirely led and directed by faculty, which means that you, as UW faculty, can propose a program to us, and that proposal will include your vision for the program, where you want to go, who you want to go with, who's going to be your co-director, which students do you want to target with this program, and we have a proposal cycle every year, so that faculty can propose these programs. And here in the link is specifically the link, the information for faculty program directors. We have two opportunities that are very special to the University of Washington, which is that we have two UW centers abroad. One of them is in Rome, which which has been connected with the University of Washington for more than 50 years. So in the historic center of Rome, we have a great set of facilities, and we also have 3 full-time staff on the ground there who are ready to support any of you if you wanted to propose a program to the Rome Center. We also have a center in León in northwestern Spain, which is a little smaller, but also hosts around 8 to 10 faculty-led programs every year. So the length of programs that you can propose to us and the time periods that you can lead students abroad vary from come in lengths of 10 days, 3 weeks, 5 weeks, or 10 weeks. So you could, for example, take students just between the winter and spring quarters, or you could take them for a full 10 weeks during one of the main academic years, quarters, or for 5 weeks during the summer, or 3 weeks during the early fall, which is the period that we have here right now. So we offer these programs throughout the year. They're always sponsored by departments and colleges. So it's really a collaboration between the faculty and the colleges and the departments, and we support this to include logistical support. We have financial support, program management support, and if you're at all interested in this idea, please reach out to me directly. I'm going to put my email here in the chat. I would be very happy to meet with you and discuss with you any ideas that you might have for leading a study abroad program at whatever time works for you. Happy to meet at your convenience and talk to you about your ideas, however tentative or preliminary they might be. I look forward to talking to you. Thank you. And I'm going to pass it on to my colleague, Maddie McMath from UW Global Travel, Health and Safety.
Thanks, Wolf. Yeah, like Wolf said, I'm Maddie McMath. I'm manager for Global Travel, Health, and Safety. I'm also representing Global Operations Support. We're sort of a small but mighty unit within the Office of Global Affairs. And there's really 3 main things that our unit wants you to know and walk away from this presentation sort of remembering. The first is that there is a new administrative policy statement that requires faculty to register all official international travel. So official is defined as anything sponsored, affiliated, funded by the university, something that is required or part of your appointment at UW. And then international is defined as anything outside of the United States. So this is anything from a conference in Switzerland to meeting with research partners in Kenya. The link to the registry, as well as FAQs, if you have additional questions or want more information on what registration entails, those should be in the chat. And if you see study abroad when you open the page to register your travel, you're in the right place. The registry is used for both study abroad and faculty travel registration. The second thing I want you to walk away from this remembering is that faculty have emergency assistance and insurance while they are on UW official travel. So it is part of your benefits load. While you are on UW official travel, you are covered under insurance. You have medical and mental health emergency assistance that are provided through International SOS, who works with the insurer. All of the information on your insurance, how to download the International SOS app, all of that is going to be within your travel registration. So once you register your travel, you'll get a lot more information on how to do that, what that all means, and what kind of support our office, the university, is providing to you while you're on official travel for your appointment. And then the third thing that I want you to be thinking about in terms of global operations, health and safety is in terms of work abroad. So if you are at any point in time planning on or have to work abroad, this is going to be anything where you are working internationally, paid through UW payroll for more than 30 days, you are going to need to submit a work abroad request. So this is going to be a little different than the travel registry in that this applies to both working abroad as part of your faculty appointment. So something like 3 months of research in Mozambique. This is also going to apply to personal work abroad requests. So if you need to take care of a sick parent who's recovering from surgery in India for 6 months, that is going to be something to submit a work abroad request form. The information for that should be in a link in the chat. To contact us about the travel registry, insurance, emergency assistance, things related to health and safety, you can email travelemergency@uw.edu. Contrary to its name, this is not just for emergencies. This is anything related to registration or insurance. And then for work abroad support, if you're submitting one of these international remote work requests, or if you have questions about that, you can email globaloperations@uw.edu.
Thank you, Maddie and Lottie and Wolf. I see there are some questions in the chat, and we've just turned to our slides, so we have our general contact information here. We welcome now time for any questions that you all might have for us. Please keep the questions coming in the chat. We can share some of those out, or we can also take any questions on the Zoom.
There is a question in the chat for 9 months faculty contracts. Do they also have to submit the work abroad during the summer?
Yes. So work abroad requests, the sort of two main pieces to think about. Obviously, there's a lot of nuance to if you need to submit one. Information for that can be found on the website as well as if you email Global Operations. But sort of the two main things to keep in mind are submitting the request if it is a request over 30 days. So if you're going for under 30 days, that's not considered work abroad. And if you are going paid through UW payroll. So regardless of what quarter it is, regardless of when during the year it is, if you're being paid through the university, that is considered a work abroad request. So those are sort of the two big questions to keep in mind as to whether or not you need to submit one.
There is another question in the chat. Is 30 days for each instance of the travel or over the entire academic year?
For that specific instance of travel, or if you're going to be in a location for a significant amount of time during the year, if that makes sense.
I think that the question is, and Jim, please correct me if I'm understanding correctly, is if a person travels for 5 days here, 10 days there, and together it's going to be 30 or more days abroad, do they still need to submit it, or it is 30 days as a one big chunk?
Great question. Gail, I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, I think as I understand what this question is, it's for if you're going to be in the same location for more than 30 days, then we're asking, because there are some countries where there are tax obligations for the individual or for the university that can trigger. That's why we have that as sort of the initial period. So we're asking for registration of work abroad for any time in a single location above 30 days. I see there's a note about not getting paid, but we do get health insurance. That's true. You are covered for on our global travel health policy over the summer as well. I'm not sure if there's a question in there that I'm not understanding, but feel free to ask it, Rima.
Hi, is it okay if I just, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that was just a follow-up for my earlier question in the chat about for faculty on 9-month contracts, we're not paid in the summer. Do we still submit the travel request if we're going to be abroad, say for the whole summer doing research, but we're not being paid?
Right. Well, I think there's maybe two different questions here. One is we are asking that you register your travel because you are engaging in probably business related to the University of Washington. If you're doing research that you're going to be publishing or otherwise under the University of Washington rubric, even though you're not paid during that time, it is part of our international travel. I think the second question you're asking is around the question of a work abroad request. And that is a great question. I think we would request that you fill that in, but just note that you're not being paid in the summer. What we often find is that people's situations are a little bit more complex than that, because it may be that you're getting some summer funding or you're getting funding from some other area. Again, this is very individual specific. So if it's going to be 90 days in a particular location, we would ask and try to get that done very quickly for you, just to make sure that everything's covered.
Thank you very much.
I have a quick question for people while there are no other questions. Is anybody here already thinking about running a study abroad program? Just put a little thumbs up in the chat or something. Oh, Rachel, great. And there is a raised hand. So
That's
Rachel,
pretty exciting to see here. We're getting
yeah. This is super excited. Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and so like I said, I shared my email earlier in the chat. Please reach out to me directly. I can see that one person already has. I can see that in my email inbox. So that's wonderful. Please reach out to me. I'm very happy to meet at your convenience, and we can start brainstorming that.
And Wolf will be at the in-person networking event tomorrow, so you'll be able to
Right.
meet him in person there if you have individual questions that you want to ask of Wolf.
Yep, I look forward to meeting you. Look forward to talking to you.
Any other questions
Sorry,
for us? This is really your time.
just one quick question. My name is Tawanda. I teach epidemiology and public health at UW's Tacoma. I've been thinking of applying for a study abroad program, but just not sure. And one of the things I wanted to know is if I do apply for this program, who organizes the logistics for the students, the visas, and the transport and all the other housing stuff?
So that's a great question. As part of proposing a program, you will tell us as much as you can about what your vision is for the program, like where you want to go, what kinds of activities does this involve, what is the mix of academics and experience that you want the students to benefit from during the program. You will be asked also to give us some preliminary information about things like housing, for example, and what your preferences are for particular types of field trips, for example, or excursions, or even guest lectures, anything that can help build out the full profile of your program for students. Reach out to me. I'm happy to have a first chat with you about what that actually looks like once you get into the proposal phase. And then you will also be assigned a program manager on my team, and that program manager will work with you on fleshing out the details in terms of specifically things like student housing, the transportation logistics. One thing that we always defer to is the local expertise that we expect the program director to have. So program directors will propose, faculty will propose programs that go to countries that they're very familiar with, either from their research or from their personal background or both. And that, of course, is really the strongest resource when it comes to making sure that the program is a good fit for a faculty member, as well as the students that are going to be recruited into that program. So please do reach out to me. Very happy to have an initial conversation and drill down on that a little bit. And Fred, you have your hand up.
Just one add-on to that. We're also working to identify in-country resources for our faculty too. So depending on the location you're looking at, we would try to help support that if you needed additional support. Sorry, Fred?
Just two quick comments. First one, I would like to respectfully request that when you ask a question, please put on your camera so that we get to see you and we can connect. The second one is for those of us who are new and already thinking about study abroad, congratulations. Here is my suggestion. When this onboarding is done, go to your department chair and find out, is there any faculty or are there any faculty who recently took students abroad? And those faculty will be willing to share with you their proposals so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You could learn from there on some of the questions or items that you may need to. Thank you.
I see. Sorry, someone else.
Hey, there's a question for you, I think.
I just
Yeah,
thought
sorry.
there are two quick questions in the chat that are related to health and safety and registration that I want to answer quickly. So the first is related to international travel mixed with conferences and travel for pleasure. So if it is a conference associated with your appointment or, is somehow required or sponsored by the university, you should register that portion of travel. And then you don't necessarily need to register personal travel. If you have two conferences and personal travel in the middle, register those as two separate trips. So your personal travel doesn't need to be registered. Official travel does. And then the question about proposing a program in East Africa, countries that are deemed ineligible due to security. So there is information on the website around travel rules and restrictions. So we use the Department of State advisories to determine health and safety and sort of set policy on where students are and aren't allowed to go. The only places that are really completely off the table for study abroad would be countries or regions with a level 4 do not travel advisory from the Department of State. Those require additional approvals, and it's really difficult to get the committee and the provost to review those proposals to approve students, especially undergrad students going to really high-risk areas. That being said, even level 3 countries, which is a reconsider travel country, we have approved travel to programs before. They do require additional review, and they require, as you can imagine, more robust support, both in-country, transportation, housing vendors, things like that. But the study abroad office works with our team to make sure that your program will be healthy and safe. And so with countries in East Africa, but also around the world, as long as they're not level 4 countries, we're happy to entertain them.
Tawanda here again. Thank you guys for your feedback. Some few more questions. Number one, there is information on the website, right, on your website concerning the travel abroad programs.
Right.
And number two, is there a limit to the number of students that can, for example, attend one program during
Tawanda, thank you for that question. That varies widely. Sometimes it depends on on logistical limitations. So sometimes for a particular country, it might make most sense to think about a group of only 12 students or 15, depending, for example, if you had to organize travel by bus. Sometimes the reality of housing and accommodations might impose a constraint on the number of students. So it's, and sometimes substantive aspects of the program, like, for example, visiting historical sites or working with a partner on a service learning or internship opportunity, could again mean that you can only take a certain number of students. The average number of students on our faculty-led programs is 18. But it varies very widely from anywhere from 10 to 25, depending really on how things like housing, activities, academics, spaces, specialized spaces, how they scale with the number of students. So again, I'd be very happy to meet up with you, and we can just like kick that around a little bit, and I'd be happy to hear your thoughts and share some inputs that we have based on the experience of working with many faculty every year on this. The question, Chin Chin, I can see here, you're taking students attending conferences abroad. That is not a study abroad program, but I'd be very happy to meet with you and talk about how to best support that. All of that would be considered official travel, and official travel rules are a little bit different for faculty like yourself, and for students going abroad, also depending on destination. But we have program types that can support any type of official travel abroad by students, both curricular, non-curricular, and also kind of one-off shorter term things like a conferences. So please reach out to me, and I'd be very happy to talk more about it.
Also, as you're supporting students, it's helpful to keep in mind that in the same way that your official travel is required to be registered, students' official travel is required to be registered. So whether or not they go through a sort of program or however they sort of fall in terms of the categories of registration, they are required to register their travel if it is for official purposes.
And just to add to what Maddie said, there is a distinction that we have between students going abroad by themselves for official travel academic purposes versus going under the leadership or guidance of a faculty member. And I'm happy to share more details like that. And yes, students include graduate students. So when we talk about students, we're talking about graduate students, we're talking about professional students, we're talking about undergraduates. When we talk about some School of Medicine type appointments, including residents who are still learning but no longer students, then they fall into the category of other academic personnel. So then again, we can always, for specific cases, connect and decide what the dividing line is there between different types of participants. The answer about, there's another question here about facilitating visa applications. So I can speak only to the students part. We do not facilitate visa applications by students. We have students from, I believe, 110 different countries at UW, and we have at least 75 or 80 destinations for study abroad and student research visits every year. So the matrix becomes very complicated in terms of those different combinations of a student's citizenships, nationalities, and destinations that we can't advise on that with confidence. So we really need to delegate that to a student to figure that out for their own situation.
And while we can't advise on visa applications, we do provide documentation. So if students or if you as faculty need documentation like insurance letters or proof of appointment at the university or participation in some sort of international work, we can help provide documentation for visas. We just can't advise on what specific visas may or may not be required.
Okay, more questions coming in here. What happens if students have trouble getting US visa to come back? Chin, is that your question related to international students that are fully matriculated here at UW for degree programs? Okay, so those are questions that are best answered by the International Student Services Office. So the International Student Service Office, or ISS, is responsible for supporting all international students that are coming here, either on exchanges or for degree programs. So I would advise that you reach out to ISS, International Student Services.
But a couple of key pieces there. One is that we're really working to tell our international students to make sure that they have all of their documentation in place and in order. And recently, if the student already has their visa, we have not experienced significant problems with students being able to get back, assuming their documentation is in order. We have, to some extent, as I understand it, people have experienced some additional secondary questioning, but it has not been a problem to come back in to the United States if your visa is already taken care of. So I know we are at time. Is there one last question, or we can let you all go to your break time, because I know you have a full day of sessions. Okay. Well, thank you to all of you for coming to our session and learning about global engagement at the UW. We look forward to working with as many of you as possible as you engage globally in your time here at the university.